Jams, jams, jams. Picture books and jams. Welcome, everybody, to PBJamz. Music and picture books, what a perfect sandwich. Squish them all together, what a yummy snack. PBJamz, yummy books and music. PBJamz, reading, writing, teaching. PBJamz, what a yummy treat. Jamming PBs all the time. PBJamz, songish books and bookish songs. Tips for music teachers, interviews and book reviews. A little singing and dancing. PBJamz, yummy books and music. PBJamz, reading, writing, teaching. PBJamz, what a yummy treat. Jamming PBs all the time. PBJamz.
Good morning or good afternoon, whenever you're joining us for PBJamz. We are so glad that you tuned in. Today I'm here with Kimberly Biddle, and she is the author of a number of books. We're going to be talking today about Darlene's Darlene Double Dutch, and shortened form of the title there, but she has several books that she has authored and published, and so she also is a musician. And so we're going to be talking with her today about her books and her music and all sorts of things. So thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Kimberly, for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Tani, who are inviting me to PBJamz. I'm so excited and I'm happy to be here. Good morning.
So let's just dive right in and talk about this story, this particular one, Darlene and the Double Dutch, and how did that story come to be? Tell us a little bit about the story, maybe, and then how you were inspired to write this particular book.
Okay, may I show the cover?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay, so it's Darlene's Double Dutch Dreams. There we go. And so the origin of this story is really interesting because I started writing it as a STEM book, right?
Wow.
It was supposed to be about counting like the jump rope, you know,
Right,
and it was going to be like 1 and 2 and 2 and 2, you know,
Right.
it's just like I was really into the rhythm of Double Dutch and making it numerical and all of that. And when I mentioned, I was at a writing conference down in Central California, and when I mentioned it, everybody got so excited. They were like, yeah. So I thought, okay, this is a good book, and so I'm going to continue with that. But my critique partners, they were like, we just don't get the counting part. It's hard to understand, and it's hard to really get the rhythm, you know, because you're not going to be there to read the book all the time.
Right.
And so then I changed it to chants.
Uh-huh.
And so I had created some chants to go with the book instead of the counting with, you know, the Double Dutch. And the theme became more at social and emotional learning, which is something that I know a little bit about, right?
Yes.
And so that's how it began. And then, I wanted to create a new character was another reason why I wrote this book. My first 2 picture books are about a little girl named LaDonna. And I wanted to change the character. I wanted to have someone else do this, be the lead of this book. And so I created Darlene, and Darlene has siblings and she doesn't have any pets. And her mom is a differently abled character, which I thought would be interesting. And LaDonna is like from maybe the upper middle class, whereas Darlene is probably more working class. And so I just wanted to change it up, still focusing on Black joy, but just change it up a little bit.
Sure.
So that's kind of like the origins and where it came from and why I wrote it.
So talk to us a little bit about the musical connections in this book, Kimberly, and also about your musical background. Like, why did music show up, and how did your past as a musician kind of enter into that?
Yes, Yes. So even when I was a little girl, I always just loved music. I love music, even to today. Like when I'm in my car, I turn up the music and I sing along, and and my son's finally getting used to that. He's always like, "Mom," but he's getting used to that, and so I just love music. And then in college, I double majored. I was a music major and a psychology major when I got my BA. I doubled, right? So people would always tease me and they would say, "So you're going to sing to your patients?"
There are worse things.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, "No, I just love music, and I don't even know what kind of psychologist I'm going to be, but I love music." And so I was lucky and just so blessed, and I was able to take vocal performance BA and a psychology BA. And so that's kind of like my background. And so I learned a little bit how to play piano, because when you're a vocal major, you need to know that.
Right.
But I'm not really good at piano, and I still take voice lessons, all the time. And some of them,
good for you.
yeah, it's just so joyful for me to take voice lessons, and it's the highlight, right, of my month when I go to that lesson.
Right.
But so when I started writing children's books, and when I got my first one published, and I was like, okay, so what do I do when I go on an author visit? And I'm like, I know I'm gonna sing. And then I thought, well, I can't sing other people's songs, can I? I might, maybe that's copyright infringement. I don't know. And so I'm like, maybe I could try and write my own song, right? And so with my first book, which was LaDonna Plays Hoops, I came up with this song called Family Hoop Star. And it was like a family project. We, my husband and son and I do the lyrics. So those come easy to me, being a vocalist, right?
Right.
So the lyrics, I do the lyrics. And then with the music, my husband plays guitar and ukulele and stuff like that. So he helps me get the chords to go along with it. And then I do a melody, right? So lyrics and melody come to me. And then my husband helps me with the chords. And then we send it to like a professional to arrange the music. They add in other instruments. They arrange it in all sorts of ways and stuff like that. And then I work with that person until I get it the way I want it to look. And that's kind of been the process with all the books, except for with the first song. The song came after it was already published, but now usually the song comes as either as I'm submitting or before it's published. The song is already created and it's all done. So that's kind of like the process, and it's been fun. I mean, it's been great. Sometimes it's a challenge for me, but I appreciate that, and it's been really fun. And Darlene is like a Disney princess, so that's what I was thinking of, like for her song, because she's the double Dutch queen, right? So she's a princess.
Love it. Yes. So is there? So we talked a little bit about then your song and writing that music and how all that came about. Now I noticed in the dedication that you dedicated this book to Darlene. So was Darlene based on a real person in your life, or is she totally fictional?
Darlene, when I was writing her, was fictional, but then I had a friend who told me that their sister was named Darlene. And then so that's why I dedicated it to my friend's sister.
I love it.
Just so, because my friend was like, "Oh, my sister's named Darlene," and they were so excited and all of that. Right. So it's a fictional character, but I just, when they said that, I said, okay, that's wonderful.
That was sweet of you. Yeah. Yeah, so the double Dutch bit, this was not a question I prepared you for ahead of time. Sorry, I'm gonna catch you off guard here. But were you involved in double Dutch? Is that something that you did as a child and as a young person? Were you a double Dutcher?
So double Dutch was hard for me. I'm not very athletic. I'm not I have some rhythm, of course,
Right.
but double Dutch is very challenging.
Yeah.
And I'm not very much of an athlete, but it was around me, and
Gotcha.
and I tried it.
Right.
I tried it. But yeah, so it's just I wanted to come up with something that was a childhood, activity.
Right. Right.
And so I thought about double Dutch. And then the music came, I in all of the books, I think about what is the theme of this story? How does the main character change?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the main character's journey and all of that? And what are the themes and what's the lesson in this story? And that's how I come up with it. And I want to have fun too, dig deep and have fun and relate to children. Yeah. Sometimes the melody comes to me in my sleep.
Right.
I gotta get up and go. Sometimes it comes to me when I'm out for a walk or in nature. And sometimes it comes to me when I'm just sitting down and going, okay, I got to write this song.
Right.
But double Dutch was a part of my childhood. I was not very good at it, just like I was not very good at basketball either.
I feel you, girl. Me either. I was
in my room reading books.
Yes, that was definitely my area of excel too. I love jumping rope, but I don't even know if I ever tried double Dutch. I don't know that it was a thing where we were at that time. But man, we did jump rope all the time.
Yes.
All the time. So yeah, I think people can relate to that on some level, even if it wasn't double Dutch, for sure. Jump rope is definitely a part of everybody's childhood, I think, almost everybody. So is there anything else, Kimberly, about this book or story that you would like for us to know that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, something kind of related is that I have a website, and on my website you can download these songs for free.
Awesome.
You can download the songs and play them, and children love them. The parents will tell me, or teachers will say, oh, they're just dancing to your song, and stuff like that. And I have teacher guides for all the different books that Marcy Colleen she creates for me. And let me think. It's my third picture book, and my first two were about LaDonna, and it was LaDonna Plays Hoops and LaDonna's Easter in Paris. And what else can I tell you? Oh, and I talked a little bit about this, but I like to use my expertise when I'm writing books as my background in child and adolescent development. And I like to focus on social and emotional learning or social competence, to help children and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed writing this book because it was a whole new character, a whole new family, her siblings, her mom and dad, and her mom, being differently abled. So it was fun for me to write this book after the first two because it was a whole new character. And so yeah, I really like that. And go on my website, you can download stuff for free.
That is awesome. And I'll link that up for you guys. It'll all be linked up in the episode, Kimberly's website and the links to those songs. And that's a great segue, Kimberly, for me to ask you, can we expect more from Darlene? Do we have more Darlene books coming?
Maybe. Right now, I'm working on a middle grade novel with a whole new character.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying my hand at middle grade novels, and I'm also working on 3 other picture books, but they have different characters.
Okay.
I may do more with Darlene. People like her. She's different. Like LaDonna is real spunky and she goes for it, and Darlene was a little more hesitant, the reluctant hero who rose to the occasion.
Right.
And people kind of like that. And they do want more of Darlene. But right now, I've created some other characters in other settings. One of my settings is a rural setting, a little girl who lives on a farm and finds a goose on her property.
Oh,
That's a
fun.
picture book.
Yeah.
And I have one about riding a bike and one about vacation picture books. And then my middle grade novel, which is about like family and school relationships and stuff like that. Anything else? Oh, I did PB pitch.
You did?
Last week. And it was my first time ever. I had never done PB pitch before. Because I was like, I don't know. This is kind of, I don't know. I was a little hesitant, a little nervous about it. And I said, you know what? Just give it a try. And I actually got a like from
awesome.
the editor.
Good for you. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I got a like from an editor. So I'm hoping that goes well. And what else is new and happening and going on? I'm thinking about entering a writing contest. I don't know, I might do that. I am the Equity and Inclusion Team Lead for SCBWI in my region.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, I am a mentee right now for the Quelly organization. So I'm being mentored on my writing.
Oh, fabulous.
That's been really helpful. I'm learning so much that I didn't know about the industry, about the intricate parts of writing. And my mentor is very knowledgeable, and I want to thank her very much. Is there anything else happening new? Yeah, I mentioned my website. It's pinkpearlwriting.com. You can go there. Oh, and I can I say I write textbooks? I don't know. I write textbooks too, as well as children's fiction, and you'll see that there. And I think that's about it. What's coming up? Maybe another one from Darlene. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Since creating her, I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun, creating different settings, different characters, and different families, and different kids, and different ages and stuff. So
yeah,
that's about it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so good to exercise our creativity as authors and as musicians, as songwriters. Like those are all ways that we kind of get our cups filled up so that we have stuff to give to our audience, whether we're, singing or making music, or whether we're writing or whatever we're doing. So it's always fun. That was one of the things I really enjoyed about last week's episode with Jenny, was we talked a lot about creativity and how we really need to cultivate our creativity and not let those things. I'm so excited to hear you talk about that you're still taking voice lessons and actively pursuing that music. It's easy to let those things go by the wayside. And so it's important for us as creators that we keep that creative well filled up to the brim so that we can keep giving back to the people around us.
Yes. Listening to music, that helps me create my stories as well, right? Listening to music and challenging myself to create a song to go with every book. Like all these books I mentioned, I'm writing songs to go with them as well, right? And it's a joy, and I just love doing it. I mean, there were years when I was a new mom and working and all that, where my creativity had sort of been stopped.
Right.
And, life was not as fun, Yeah. Not that it's just all fun. I mean, creating something is real work.
It is. Yeah.
But for me, it's the same reason why I majored in psychology and music in the first place, is because I love it.
That's right.
I love music, and it brings me pleasure, joy, and it takes away the tension, and just everything. Music is so wonderful for all people. And I'm happy to be creating these. When I was young, just studying music, I wrote, some lyrics and stuff and had fun. And then I said, oh, one of these days, maybe one of these days I'll do something with this. And so now it's fun and I get to do something with what I'm writing.
That's right. Yeah. One of those days is now for you.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great idea to think about those things that we always kind of put on hold and thought, well, maybe one day. And then it's so awesome to see that one day actually happen and say, yes, I'm finally doing something with what I always wanted to do something with. And that's kind of how it felt when I put together PBJamz. And that's exactly why this is so wonderful, because it ties together all those things that I love, the music and the writing and the teaching and all those things that have been so much a part of my life. And so it's a great way for me to get to talk to all of you guys and hear your expertise and your stories. And that makes me so happy to hear about how you're getting your ideas and how you're creating. And as an author, it helps me to talk to y'all as a creator, just in general, like it fills my well to get to hear all of your stories about how you're doing these things and how successful they are and how you're integrating all those things that you love. I think it's important for us as creators at large to talk about those things. And there was a great thread on Twitter. I don't remember who said it the other day, but they were talking about how all those things that we love doing outside of writing, that's what fuels our writing. It's what gives us things to write about. And when they say write about what you know, that's when we get to bring in all these things that we love. So you mentioned taking a walk and being out in nature helps us get those ideas, and music helps us get those ideas. So bringing in all those things that we love is a great way to exercise our creativity and share those things that other people may not know as much about. So thank you so much, Kimberly, for sharing your heart today. It's been such a great conversation.
Thank you, Tawny, for inviting me. This has been a wonderful experience. And yes, you have to have your hobbies, yes, or, things that you do where you're not working, where it's not a job. Yeah. Because as you say, it fuels you and it fills you up and it allows you to give, right? Yes. As authors, we give so much of ourselves. Yes. Right? I mean, you're putting your thoughts, your ideas on the page, and then you're reading it and giving to the people at that time. And so to be able to do that successfully, you have to fill yourself up, find ways and people that fill you up, and things to do and activities that fill you up. So, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, PBJamz folks, for joining us today for another awesome episode and a chat with an author. And I'm linking up all of Kimberly's great information down below, so make sure you check out her website, download those songs. For those of you who are teachers, either in the regular classroom or the music classroom, she has teacher guides and great things to help you along. I'm going to link up more tips below, writing prompts, even that PBJamz snack is coming up for you on the episode. So thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on PBJamz.
Jamming PBs all the time. PBJamz, jams, jams, jams. Picture books and jams. We'll see you